Hey guys, it is VEDA day 11, and today I'm going to do a review of The Archive by Victoria Schwab. Now, this book I originally just came across. I had never heard anything about her or the series, but I recently decided I want to be an archivist, so naturally, I see a book called The Archive, I'm going to pick it up. What this book is about is a girl named Mackenzie Bishop, and she is a keeper for the Archived. Now, the Archived is this giant archive of copies of like human souls that are called histories, and they contain pretty much all the memories that a person creates during the course of their lives. And pretty much what Kenzie does is that sometimes these copies, memories, histories decide to reanimate themselves and bolt for whatever reason. Usually they are younger, because usually the younger souls, they haven't lived as long, they're more restless. And so Kenzie goes and gets them and keeps them from going into the outer, which is our world. Because if they do, they can wreak havoc. Well, that's going on. Her family has just moved into a revamped hotel that's been turned to apartments, and apparently there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. It's a really old building, it has a lot of history, and another ability Kenzie has is that when she touches something, she can pretty much see all the memories that were left on the object. And she realizes that there's something more going on, and she thinks it might have something to do with the archive. And so it's kind of like this mystery, and you also get some action, and it's really, really good. I cannot say enough good things about this. As the characters go, Mackenzie is a very, very strong female character. I really, really enjoyed her. Sometimes she can be a little annoying, but you know, I think that's the thing with first person, is that you really get to know the character. So it's kind of like really having a really close best friend that you know all their faults, and sometimes that can get kind of annoying. So I really like how she's been structured. And then there's Wesley is another character that I really, really enjoyed, especially when it came to Mackenzie and his interactions. They just kept on going back and forth, and it makes for some really good scenes. Just like this goth kid, but he's really, really smart, and he's just the perfect guy, almost the perfect guy. And the entire time, like, while it's not a huge part of the storyline, the entire time you're rooting for them to get together because they're just so adorable. One of my favorite characters, and I think it's the consensus that the favorite character is Roland, who is the librarian in the archive and is kind of Mackenzie's mentor throughout the thing. And he's just like this really, he's like Giles type character, like Giles from Buffy is the first thing I think of. And he's like this laid-back guy, wears Converse, but apparently he's like a major person within the archive, and he just helps Kenzie along with everything that's going on, and I just love his character. We don't really get to meet, but kind of do in flashbacks, is Da, who is Kenzie's grandfather and also her predecessor, who was a keeper before herself, kind of like passed it down. It's kind of how it works. He seems like a really interesting guy, and you kind of get a better look at how Kenzie really is, especially how she was before the whole thing with her brother dying, and it really adds to the story and to the characters, and I really like the flashbacks. Another thing I thought was really interesting and kind of just qualifies how amazing the writing is in here is that, or maybe I just thought it was really interesting, is that the entire thing is written in present tense, even the flashbacks. Which, considering like how much the book has to do with like history and stuff, I thought that was really interesting, because everything is in the present, and yet everything they're dealing with is in the past, and they're protecting the past. I don't know. I thought that was really interesting. There's just a lot of really interesting things that can be talked about this. I mean, it goes on a lot about like the purpose of knowledge and whether ignorance is actually bliss, and like the meaning of death, and whether, I guess it's kind of like the supernatural philosophy, what's dead should stay dead, except for it doesn't entirely apply. And I just really enjoyed this book. I have to say, it might be one of my favorite books that I've read of 2013, and I love this book. I highly recommend it to anyone, and I'm really excited for the next one, even though it doesn't come out till like January. But Schwab has another book called Vicious coming out over the summer sometime, and I'm really hoping that that will keep me going until Unbound comes out. I think it's January 28th. So yeah, I guess if you've read this book, let me know in the comments and we can talk about it for days. And if you haven't, go pick it up because it is amazing. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!